afternoon, everybody. How are you guys doing today? We've got Wrath of Wood and Haster already in chat waiting for me. Welcome to the afternoon stream for the whole spoiler business that we're doing. As you can see, my hair has just become so unruly, I must wear a hat. It's driving me absolutely batty. I am really tempted to find a pair of razors and chop it all off at this point. It's because by the time we get out of this, it'll be growing back to its normal self. So, I don't know. Hopefully everyone's doing well. I know I'm doing okay otherwise. Stuck at home like usual. There's not much else we can do. Yeah, the Extra Life United has started, and people are gaming away, and that's pretty cool. It's actually officially starts, I believe, tomorrow and goes till the 12th. If it's the weekend, I believe. Use a bowl and cut it? No, I'm not. I'd rather just shave it all off at this point. My God. I'll shave it all off and then dye it. Oh wait, that doesn't work, does it? Anyway, into the spoilers. Right away, you guys can see we're $900 for our Extra Life United, which is absolutely amazing, and I thank everyone that has contributed to that. It's amazing to see that we're able to come together and for a very good cause, in my opinion. So yesterday we left off with the Healed Bonder. I'm pretty sure I didn't go over the Zenith Flare and all that, but because that came out, I believe, last night. I could be wrong on that. So if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry, but it's the way of things. Things do come out after I do the stream, so I know there is a little bit of backtrack sometimes that does happen. So first off, we've got the Keen Sight Mentor. 1 white, 2 generic, 1/4 human cleric. When it enters the battlefield, put a vigilant counter on target non-human creature you control for a white and a generic, and tap it, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control with vigilance. That's pretty nice. This seems to be a cycle of cards. I'm fashionably late to the stream. Not really. I just started. I just read off the first card, Dragon's Lair. Welcome. Yeah, that seems pretty decent. There's a cycle of these cards. There seems to be one for Vigilant, Lifelink, Trample, and a couple others. Same with the cycling cards. So there's a few different things that are going on where creatures are tapping and adding these counters, which we'll see how that plays out. I think it's going to mean more in draft. I don't know if it'll be too crazy when it comes down to standard. Then we got the Sanctuary Smasher, 2 red and 4. This is a 6/4 Rhino Beast with First Strike, which we've gone over this before. I believe this thing's had alternate arts. When you cycle Sanctuary Smasher, put a First Strike counter on target creature. Okay, no, that was another thing that I'm thinking. So if you just cycle this as a combat trick to give something First Strike, that's kind of nice. Otherwise, it's a big-ass 6/4 with First Strike. Don't get me wrong, First Strike on a big creature like that, that's pretty huge. I wonder if there's anything else that's going to give First Strikers Double Strike, which could make this card very crazy. We got the Brush Meat Poacher. We've got the evil black poacher here. 1 black, 3 generic for 2/4 human soldier. 1 and tap. Sacrifice another creature, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness and draw a card. That's kind of nice. You're gaining life, you're drawing a card, you're trying to probably 2 for 1 gain. You're trying to gain more than you lose with this, so it could be something viable. We will see if that does something more or not. Hey Jonah, welcome. Then we got the Zenith Flare. I've seen a lot of people posting about this one. They really like the idea of it. 1 white, 1 red, 2 generic. It's an instant. Deals X damage to any target and you gain X life, where X is the number of cards with cycling in your graveyard. This is okay. If it didn't rely on cycling, it would be a lot better. It's going to be broken in fire decks, probably, mainly because Fires of Invention is going to let you cycle anything that you need. And that's why it's not that great outside of the cycling mechanic. Like you have to rely on another mechanic for this card to do anything. So that's the one problem that I do have with the card. Otherwise, it's probably something that's going to be more, and it's to any target. So maybe you can do a finisher. I don't think you're going to get 20 cycle cards in your graveyard though. Then we got THRU, the Wellspring. This thing reminds me of the Princess Mononoke elk. One hybrid, red or green, and 4 generic for a 5/5 elemental elk. With companion, no card in your starting deck has more than one of the same mana symbol in its mana cost. If this card is in your chosen companion, you can cast it from outside the game. Okay, that doesn't... What? No card in your starting deck has more than one of the same mana symbol in its mana cost. So there's no double devotion with this. Like, everything is single mana colored, which is very strange for what this is. Unless it's all 5 colors... no card in your starting deck has more than one of the same mana symbol. So you can have like a multicolor card, or you just can't have like cards with 2 green, 2 red, and so on. It's a very strange wording and a very strange condition. Welcome the Judge and DJ Vinyl. No 5-color control can be a thing. Ew. And then you tap this for 1 mana of each color. But you can only... It can't be used for generic mana, which is kind of interesting. I don't think we've really seen too many cards that do that. 5 color plus 10 hybrid still seems hard to build around. Yeah, this might be something that goes in a Niv Mizzet deck, though. And a Niv Mizzet deck right now is pretty powerful. We have a Dust Mentor, black and 2 generic, human monk. When this enters the battlefield, put a lifelink counter on target non-human creature you control, and 1 black and 1 tap it, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control with lifelink. This is going to go in a black-white lifelink deck that's going to ramp pretty crazy, I think. Go back. How is everyone else doing? And, of course, we have the ultimatums. I saw these were coming out in the set. They did mention that 1 card cycle that people have been asking for over 10 years to be completed. And they finally are doing it with the Ultimatum series. So, we have Emergent Ultimatum, which is 2 black, 3 green, and 2 blue. Sorcery. Search your library for up to 3 monocolored cards with different names and exile them. An opponent chooses one of those cards. Shuffle that card into your library. You may cast the other cards without paying their mana cost. Exile Emergent Ultimatum. That thing is absolutely nuts, and because of Fires of Invention, 5-colored crap, these are... The mana costs in these right now mean absolutely nothing, which is really unfortunate. Then we also have Eerie Ultimatum, which is 2 white, 3 black, 2 green. Sorcery, return any number of permanent cards with different names from your graveyard to the battlefield. This thing is like Command the Dreadhorde, but with no drawback. This is going to be insane. At least it's only your graveyard and not your opponent's graveyard. And I think there's enough graveyard hate right now that this won't make anything... It won't go anywhere. Now we have Song of Creation. Teamer colors, 1 red, 1 blue, 1 green, and 1 generic. Hello, Stay and Play. How's it going? This thing's an enchantment. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. That's kind of nice. Whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards. At the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. So, this alongside of Fires of Invention, you're only casting 2 spells a turn anyway. This lets you put down the additional lands, so this might become something more. You cast your first spell, you draw 2 cards, 1's a land, you put it down, cast your second spell, then discard your hand. It could be something. Teamer Reclamation would love this. Yeah, Reclamation too. We're going to see what that does. Eating some leftover dominoes. Nice. Just wait for Narset. I know, I saw Narset earlier today. She's coming up. Sonarius Howl Bonder. 2 black or red generic, and 1 generic with the hybrids. It's a 2/2 human warrior with menace. Each creature you control with menace can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. So this is pretty much mega menace, or very menacing of a card. This is something, yeah, when menace becomes something more and it needs its own ability, it's ridiculous. Love how the ultimatum cards are never actually ultimatums. Yep, exactly. Then we got a card in what looks like German. The Collar Fight Mentor. I don't think that's the actual name because that looks like it's something Mentor, but not Collar Fright. I don't think that'll be the actual name because that's 1 word and those are 2. 1 red, 2 generic for a human warrior. When this enters the battlefield, put a menace counter on target non-human creature, and this is a red and 2, tap it, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control with menace. Rakdos is a lot of menace creatures already, so we're going to see this. This card's probably going to slot in there very well. Especially with the Dreadhorde Butcher, putting counters on that thing is going to be ridiculous. Who is Narset, really? Who is Narset? Narset is up next. She is Narset of the Ancient Way. 1 white, 1 red, 1 blue, and 1. Legendary Planeswalker Narset. Originally from Takir block, I believe. 4 loyalty Planeswalker. +1, you gain 2 life. Add a blue, red, or white mana to your mana pool. And then spend this mana to only cast non-creature spell. It's okay. For the amount that you're putting her down, though +1, at least you're gaining 2 life. -2, draw a card, then you may discard a card. When you discard a non-land card this way, Narset of the Ancient Way deals damage equal to that card's converted mana cost to target creature or planeswalker. At least it says may. So -2, just draw a card straight up. That is really nice because you can do that right away. Then you may discard a card to get rid of something on board, sacrificing that card. So this is a way to fill your graveyard. This is a way to maybe get rid of things. I don't mind this. At least she's 3 color. And in -6, you get an emblem. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this emblem deals 2 damage to any target. We've seen these emblems in the past. Ral had one. I think Chandra had one as well. So there's going to be, there could be a 3-color, mostly red deck that's just going to do damage via emblems, which could be crazy. I always thought people didn't give Menace the respect it deserved. Yeah, Menace is a 2/4/1. 2/4 what? What the hell are you meaning, Rotherwood? I would have preferred Ultimatos. Oh boy. Ultimatos, however you spell it, it's great. Kahira, the Orphan Guard. 2 red or white hybrid, plus a mana. We got a legendary creature, Cat Beast. It's a 3/2. Each creature in your starting deck is a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast card. That is a very wide-ranging companion ability. You know when 2 creatures block your menace, it's a 2/1? Oh, yeah. Well, that menace is a 3 or better than 1. Ooh, fun cat deck, yep. Here or be a blob. Yup, exactly, Pink Peacock. How's it going? Maybe zoo decks might become a thing. It could be. This thing has vigilance, and each other creature you control that's a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast also gets +1/+1 and vigilance. We've seen this on Ajani from War of the Spark, giving all your creatures vigilance. So this kind of suits in there with the Selesnya vibe and might be something that comes out of it. Selesnya aggro, and then with a bunch of top-down abilities maybe. We'll see where that goes. Oh, we got another German card here. The Drathnith Healer. 1 white, 1. Whenever you cycle a card, you gain 1 life. It's a human cleric, and it's got cycling 1. That's not too bad for a 2/2. Ultimately, it's a 2 mana for a 2/2, which isn't bad. Cycling as an added bonus, and you gain life as a passive ability if it just happens to be there. This is a decent draft card because it's all upside in draft. Yeah. Okay. This next card, I think, can do something more because it's got no color. It's a Farfinder. It's 3 mana, just straight up 3 mana. It's a 1/1 fox. Okay. It's got vigilance, and when it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card, shuffle, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. This is almost better or as good as the Birth of Meltez right now, because that thing lets you find planes. This lets you find any. Any flickering effects on this is going to be ridiculous, and recursions from the graveyard is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Yes, we do have Traveler's Amulet, but Traveler's Amulet at least has to... you have to pay a cost to continue it going, right? Where the recursion on this is the problem. It's not so much that the Traveler's Amulet, yes, it's an artifact, it goes into any deck. This is on a creature, and there's more things that target creatures to get them out of graveyards and flickering them. So it's going to be a little bit crazy. The Fox gives speed for playability in all colors, otherwise it's slow. Commander card, Busted Heart. Doesn't need sack, so it's better. Yeah, and it sticks around, so it can be flickered. And especially with Thrasa right now, there's a few things that are going to... You could potentially use this card to break and fetch out a lot of your land out of your deck very quickly. And I think that's the problem. Death Touch Menace would be best. Ruinous Ultimatum. 2 red, 3 white, and 2 black. Sorcery. Destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control. That thing is devastating. Especially in those colors. Now, like... This is one card that is just going to destroy your opponent's deck, and like anything on board. Destroy all non-land permanents. If you've got like this is crazy. It's going to shift any game away. And honestly, if they've got a bunch of planeswalkers out, they're controlling the board. You get this thing out, it's going to be gone. The biggest problem against this is it's only in white and black. Thankfully they added red, but this could easily end up in a Fires of Invention control deck. Yeah, I'm not huge on this, but it is probably something we needed at this point. Time to make my chromatic black. Yup. Zidra, the Dawnwalker. A 2 hybrid red and white and 1. I absolutely love the artwork on this one. I want this thing in foil. It's an elemental fox. It's a legendary creature, 3/3. Each permanent card in your starting deck has an activated ability. That's okay. Abilities you activate aren't mana abilities are 2 less to cast. This effect can't reduce the mana in the cost to less than 1 mana. So at least they put on that little bit of a restriction there. And 1 and tap it, target creature can't block this turn. So this is an okay card. I don't think it's going to skyrocket or anything like that. This is something that if you can use it in the companion side, you would. But if you can't, you're not going to. So that's the way I kind of see this. I think out of all the companion cards, this is the most fair one that I've seen. Like all the ultimatums, it's balanced through color strictness, but it doesn't strangle the opponent the same way as Cruel Ultimatum because it puts you 1 zone in your favor. Yeah. Training Groundish, or the Simic one that reduces things as well. Offspring's Revenge. I saw this, I was like, whoa, that thing could be something else. This is once again in black, white, and red with 2. This is an enchantment. At the beginning of combat on your turn. Exile target red, white, or black creature card from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 1/1, it gains haste. So you can attack with it right away. If it's got enter the battlefield triggers, it's going to be ridiculous. Imagine doing this with the Borgod. Yes, it comes in as a 1/1, but then you get to put out something else from your hand and continue that cycle. The Borgod just gets shuffled back in anyway, right? If it's in your graveyard? No, it's got to leave field. Yeah, it's tough to say. I'll get Pakros. Yep. Yeah, like, I don't know. There's a few things that are going to be. It's keep CMC and cost too. Yep. So, yeah, we'll see what goes on with that. And then we have the almighty Brushwag for 1 green. Anyone got a stick to attach this thing to? I need to mop up my place. It's a 1/1 trample. A green and 3, and it gets +3/+3 until end of turn. And this is very much like the black one that for 1 more mana. But it has trample, so if you've got 8 mana out, this thing can get +6/+6, become a 7/7 trample. Yeah, in green, this is something to contend with. It's early on defender or early on creature, and then late game could be something crazy. Looks like an angry tumbleweed, yep. Then we got the Necropanther, and this thing absolutely looks amazing. I want to see this in foil, just because of the purple and the whites in there. 1 black, 1 white, 1 generic for a 3/3 Cat Nightmare. It's the nightmare of your cats, with the mutate of 2 white or black hybrid, and if you mutate it, return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. And here is what I'm talking about, recursion with the Farfinder, right? This is something that could easily come back with the Necropanther. And then flickering that on top of it. Yeah, it could be something. There's a 3/4 of a bad Catatoad. Yep. Then we've got a sorcery of 1 mind. It's a blue and 2. This spell costs 2 less to cast if you control a human creature and a non-human creature. So you can cast this for 1, and then you draw 2 cards. So that's kind of interesting. If you've got a diverse enough deck in blue, then this could become a 1 cast. But I think we've got the flying ones that actually do a little bit better. Surprisingly, that's all we've got for spoilers right now. We're 160 of 247. They're kind of starting to slow roll on the amount of spoilers that we do have. It is kind of nice. Narset does have an alternate art, which they're not showing here. So I will bring that up. Because when I saw it, the only thing that went through my head was, what is this, The Last Airbender? And then I was like, no, it's not The Last Airbender. It is, well, sure, it's right there. Narset of the Ancient Way. It's kind of Mulan-ish, especially the stance that she's got. So, yeah, my running joke on that right now is she's going to make a man out of you, because this 100% reminds me of Mulan, all because of the stance that she's in, fighting with that kick going through the air. She's just missing the quarter staff, so it's kind of funny. I don't mind the alternate art, but yeah, it really reminded me of that type of it. Yeah, I'm not taking that back. Come on, Habanero. The blue eyes. Yeah, the blue eyes are pretty dope, I guess. She's flying through the air, ready to kick some face. Yeah, the Planeswalkers alternate arts have been very comic book styled. I'm not ultimately a fan of the way that they've been, which is really unfortunate. Because the other ones that they've had, if I go here, where is it? Probably Ikoria Layer beyond its variants. Yeah, I'll just bring this on screen. We can talk a little bit about all the variants here now. Like, a lot of these are very comic book style, and I'm not overly impressed with the alternate arts of those so much. Like, these ones here, the Lava Brink Venture, they're a little bit nicer. But once again, this flare out effect is nothing spectacular. The Brood Moth is very nice in that sense. Then you have the Godzilla cards. And the Godzilla cards are actually probably, out of all the alternate arts, because it's a reskin card, they're probably the better looking from my opinion. The Amazing Narset looks like a comic for sure. Yeah. Flourishing Fox, this looks like a promo. Yeah, it says promo pack. So this is like your Friday night buy a box, Friday night magic promo. The Seth MacKinnon ones are going to be absolutely amazing to collect. They're going to hold much value because it is Seth MacKinnon. He does amazing artwork. The Mothra is pretty cool looking. But yeah, here we go. We've got the blue ones, and they're back to the comic book style. And it's just me. I'm not a huge fan of this style of comic book, really. I don't mind the Shark Typhoon. I don't mind the Great Shark, because I like the high resolution. Personally, think the expanded box art has always been ugly ever since they first introduced it as a box art. Well, the one thing that I don't like about the expanded art is it's not expanded. It's not a true expansion of the art because it's just a zoom-in version of it. And that's been why I don't like it. I like the see-through text box. Yeah, the see-through text is nicer. That's always been nicer on cards. But once again, with like the Baby Godzilla here, it's a lot nicer to look at than this particular comic book style. I'm not a huge fan of it. To me, it's just a little bit too like Avatar-ish or Disney-ish, this type of cartoony. Once again, the Extinction Event and Mythos of Nithril. Those two I don't mind, but once again, it's not a true representation of that art because it's just a zoomed-in version. Yeah, that's why when you expand the box art, it's very nice habanero when you do it. It's a lot neater. And then we have a Heartless Act promo pack. We've got the Space Godzilla Death Corona here. And, okay, the Dirge Bat here, I don't know what that is, but the Dirge Bat here is one of the 3 Japan-only cards. I don't know which character this is, because that's not a Mothra. It's a type of moth, but it's a different type. Like, the Phoenix here, I don't feel this Phoenix does its justice by the look of it. I'm really unimpressed with it. This might look cool in foil, but at the same time, I'm not a big fan of this. And then we've got the other couple Godzilla ones here. Looks like he's trying to eat his own neck. Like Vivian, when I saw this, I was like, what have they done to the Planeswalkers? Why do they look so cartoony? Like, to me, this... I don't know if this is maybe an ode to the cartoon that they're coming out. If that's the style that they're going with the shell shading stuff, I'm not really that a fan of. Phoenix looks sweet. No, I don't like it. I feel you lose a lot of the Phoenix, and that's why I'm not a huge fan of it. And then we got the ape. Classification. What? Why is... Oh, this is the bundle art for Classification. I do not like that. That is ugly. Like, no. No. So your bundle is Classification as your promo in the bundle. That is... No. I want the kitty cat. Give me the cat or bust. Migration Path. Like... Broco's here just looks like he's got way too much going on. You can't even tell the details there. Batra, the Dark Destruction. Okay. Then you got Godzilla, the Boneyard Lurker. Lord Drakis. That's interesting, but once again, it's very cartoony. Snapdrax, like you can barely read the top of it. It's kind of cool 3D effect on it. Yeah, a lot of them are not that appealing to me at all. Like these alternate art, this style isn't appealing to me. I don't mind it, but it's not. If I got one, I wouldn't throw it away or anything like that. But it's not anything spectacular. I'm not going to go out of my way to try and get those cartoony ones. I do like the Dream Den here. He's very nice looking, the Cat Nightmare. That's going to be very cool looking in foil. I gotta say that. Same with the Otter. It's too bad this Otter is too OP for Commander and everything like that. I do like the Helion. This reminds me of the worm that we escaped. The new Narset is awesome. Yes, it is. The cartoony art, not so much, but the new version of her is very nice. Sprite Dragon. We've got Bioquartz here. Ghidorah. Like, a lot of the... I like a lot of the Godzilla versions better than the cartoony stuff. This is another one, the Mysterious Egg. This is another one that's only in Japan. And the third one is the Mecha Godzilla, is the one that's only in Japan. The Ozolith has alternate art to it, which is just the flared out art. That's interesting to note. So it is kind of neat. I'm just not a big fan of this cartoony look. It makes me feel that Ikoria is a distant land and maybe a dream of Vivian's than anything. That egg looks like pudding from Final Fantasy. Yeah, kinda. Very, very interesting. Like, Broco's just... Oh, no. No. It's a hard card to even look at, in all honesty. Classification, that does not do it justice. The Big Giant Kitty is way better. Yeah, there's the actual classification. I love the Big Giant Kitty, the colors, the crystals, the actual mood of it, and then you look at this one and you just go, this card does nothing for me. It doesn't look that good, and we know this is already in foil, too. Broco's LSD just kicked in. Yep. Yeah, like this looks like a poster if you're doing shrooms and you throw it on your wall with a black light, maybe. Habanero, that's funny. Auspicious Strix. Gem Razor, like, is this straight out of Digimon or something? Like, what? What did they do? I don't mind Yadaro just because of the bubblegum pink that they got in there. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the Everquill Phoenix. The art for it, to me, doesn't do it for me. I like the actual version of this card right now. And Phoenixes are probably one of my favorite creatures when it does come down to it. So, to me, this is like, ugh, why? I think you could have done a lot more. Yeah, the cartoony stuff just makes me... It kind of reminds me of the old school Scry in that sense, in some of their articles they used to have. But yeah, overall, I'm not a huge fan of the stylized version of it. It looks like they've got only a few artists that did that. Just taking a quick look here, all those three are different. So yeah, there's a few of them, but like here, the Liger and the Aracorn are done by the same person. So it's very interesting. Now, your question is this on the same page maybe, and they took two separate parts of the page? That's kind of interesting. Anyway, guys, I am going to still cut this short as I can, just so I can keep this in the playlist, and if people want to go through all of the spoilers, they can. So thank you for joining. We will see you guys later tonight as I continue that draft that we started last night, because that draft was absolutely amazing. There you can see my desktop. I've got dragons, phoenixes everywhere when it does come down to it. Do you believe that they're offering the cosmetic art due to the art direction? Possibly for Arena, and that very well could be. The storybook ones that they did in Thrown Out Eldraine, once again, because it was a first rendition of it, was beautiful, like they did with the original masterpieces of Zendikar. They were absolutely gorgeous. They were lands. They were what the people really wanted. But then as that progressed, they got slowly worse and worse. So I think that's kind of what we're seeing here yet again. They're burning this out until it gets dried up again. Anyway, guys, have a good day. We will see you guys later tonight. Thanks for joining.